Hi guys, welcome back to day 8 of 14 Days of Sunscreen. I have an interesting and exciting new one for us today. I actually bought the mini set from Sephora. This is of the 2 ultraviolet sunscreens, but today we are going to be just reviewing this one. This is the Velvet Screen. So I try to buy minis, travel sizes when I can. I've also already owned this one. I owned the Australian version, so I kind of knew what it was like. This one is very, very similar, especially with mineral. They don't have to do that much to change the formula. I don't even know if they change the formula because zinc oxide is the main active ingredient. So there's nothing really like that groundbreaking about it being in America. It's more that they're chemical sunscreens. They had to change some of the filters because America does not have the same filters as Australia. So with all that said, I've definitely tried this many, many times before. I owned it and really liked it. So I'm going to be showing you what it looks like today, and we're going to just get into it right now. So what I love about this mini size is when you go to open it, you just twist this. What? That's so brilliant. This should be on all packages, small, large, whatever. It just makes it super easy and like your hands don't get messy or nothing gets messy. So I will be slowly squeezing it out into our 1/4 teaspoon. I'm just gonna say, just from the jump, if anyone doesn't know about this, either the Velvet Screen or in Australia it's called Lean Screen, it is a thick formula. Like, I don't know how to describe the thickness to you other than, let's see if we can get it on camera. Like, it's like butter, but actually thicker than butter. Okay, I'm gonna take that off of my hand and put it onto my face, and we're gonna apply. So this is Velvet Screen from Ultraviolet. It is SPF 50, and they call it a blurring mineral sunscreen that softly mattifies like an IRL skin filter. If you've got sensitive skin, this calming non-chalky cream soothes reactive skin. It's fragrance free, it's made in Australia, and they say it has a matte skin finish. In the US, it retails for $36, and you can purchase it from the Ultraviolet website, as well as Sephora, which is where I got this sample size, but they also have a full size. The full size is 1.7 fluid ounces, and the sample size is 15 milliliters or 0.5 fluid ounces. So actually not a bad amount, and the small one is a perfect travel size one. This is a perfect way to try it and test it and see if you like it before buying the full size. As far as our ingredients, we have 22.75% zinc oxide, which is a huge amount. That's why you get SPF 50. I love to see that amount of zinc oxide, but at the same time, just know that zinc oxide is not the only factor in a lot of mineral sunscreens. A lot of them do have the filter butylactyl salicylate. You've heard me talk about it before, and that is basically a chemical filter that they don't actually have to call out, so it could make it a hybrid sunscreen, which makes a lot of mineral sunscreens just easier and more elegant. This one does not have it though. So if you are excited and you wanted to try it, but you don't like butylactyl salicylate, this one is free from it, and it's a really good option for a pure chemical sunscreen, like actual, not just marketing. It also has Kakadu Plum, which is a natural version of vitamin C that's going to help fight dark spots, hyperpigmentation. It's basically a natural antioxidant. It also has pentovitin, which is a plant-based extract that works as a moisture-loading magnet. So basically it pulls water into the skin for up to 72 hours, which is pretty crazy and pretty cool, especially for a mineral sunscreen, because they can be quite drying. So one of the things that Ultraviolet kind of calls out in the marketing of this is that it's really good for irritated skin. It's good to calm your skin. Most mineral sunscreens are, but when they do have that filter, butylactyl salicylate, it can irritate people's skin if they already have kind of sensitive skin, acne prone or rosacea. That can further irritate the skin, but this one is going to be a really, really gentle one. The only thing about that is that the texture of it, because it is so thick, there's a little bit more tugging and pulling what you have to do to get it to blend out. So yes, the texture of this is going to be thicker. You are going to have to do a little bit more pulling, but I have found that once you kind of get it in your hands and it's warmed up a little bit just by your touch, it's not the entire time. It's just when it's a little cold or like coming out of the bottle. but it is surprising. I feel like if you've never tried a super thick sunscreen, you will be kind of shocked by this. One that really reminds me of it in terms of texture is the Naked Sundays. I think it's called Mineral Collagen Glow. It's their mineral one, and it has a similar texture, a similar undertone even, and that same really thick texture. So I did want to talk about the undertone on this one because the undertone is just, it's perfect. A lot of, and I've talked about this before, and I will talk about it again in this series, but a lot of mineral sunscreens just have a very warm, kind of overly like red, orange undertone. And this one, and there are a few others in our series, have just this perfect neutral undertone. I think that's just wonderful because there are people with olive undertones and lots of different undertones, red, greenish, neutral, whatever it may be. But I feel like a lot of people do tend to be a little bit more neutral than warm, and this is just perfect in that sense. Now, if you do have a warmer undertone, I don't think it's going to be so terrible on you, but I think you may need a little bit more bronzer or a foundation or something to kind of warm up your skin. And as far as skin tones, it's definitely going to work for our lighter skin tones and definitely in the light medium. Now, when we get into the medium and dark, I can't say I don't have that undertone or skin tone, excuse me. But I do think that because it blends in pretty quickly, you may have a little bit of that kind of ashy undertone, but it's not going to be a total white cast. But again, like I'm only me, I can only test it on myself, so I can't speak 100% or with 100% certainty there. Another thing that I like to call out, there is no scent in this. It's so small. No scent in this. It doesn't smell like a mineral sunscreen because, you know, sometimes they have like that minerally scent. This one, I just don't smell anything, which is really nice. And then the other thing that I really wanted to call out because it's just such a, like, love to see it. Or I'm on the Ultraviolet website and some of their FAQs are, you know, like, what is skin screen? Which I don't really know. It's kind of like their own marketing jargon. But then the next one says, how much SPF do I need to apply? And I'm just going to read it right off of here because I think it's really important. You need 1/4 teaspoon of sunscreen for your neck, or I say neck, for your face, and another 1/4 teaspoon for your neck and décolleté. So this is the whole décolleté. I'm not wearing it on my décolleté. I have a shirt, so I don't need another 1/4. But to be safe, if you had like a tank top on, you would do 1/4 down there as well. This estimate is based on average face sizes and the SPF testing amount, 2 milligrams per 0.39 square inches. So if you have a larger face, you'll probably need more. If you have a smaller face, you probably need less. Now, some people come to me in the comments and they're like, I have a smaller face, I don't need 1/4 teaspoon. My thinking is, okay, you may not, but it might be like a negligible amount, but also, are you really like, I'd rather just do a little bit more if I'm trying to protect my face from skin cancer and UVA and UVB rays. But that's just me. So I just stick with 1/4 teaspoon and it feels good to me. The other thing that you can do, and I always say this, is that you can test it out. And by that I mean, you put this on your fingers, 1, 2, 3 is kind of usually the amount that people do, and then scoop it into your 1/4 teaspoon and see how many finger lengths it takes. That way you don't have to use the 1/4 teaspoon every day, and you just know 3 finger lengths. So this one is not water resistant, which is a shame, especially because I'm going to ride later. I ride horses and I'm definitely going to be sweating, but it is not water resistant. The only one in the American line that is water resistant from Ultraviolet is Vibrant Screen, which is another one that's mainly for your face and body. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is really the finish and what it looks like. So I'm going to zoom you in for that. Okay. So this is what it looks like. This is with makeup on. So what I do usually, especially for like a no makeup day, I have a little bit of concealer on my eyelids because they get very red. Just a dab under, maybe 1 dab here, sometimes on my nose and 1 on my cheek. Pretty minimal. And then I powder my eyelids because I don't want them creasing. I have mascara on. I have a little bit of blush, eyebrow gel. That's it. So you can see what it looks like. There's definitely a little bit of a glow to it, but it's actually not too bad. Now on me, it's not 100% mattifying. I wouldn't go so far as to say this is a matte sunscreen. We have another one, maybe a few in the series that are more mattifying. This one, not 100%, but I don't think it's it's not like too glowy. You basically can manipulate it by what you're wearing underneath or on top. So for me, because in this series I do them all on a bare face, no skincare, it is a little bit more natural matte. I wouldn't go so far as to say matte, but a little bit more. But if I put skincare on, like vitamin C and a moisturizer, it's pretty glowy. It does kind of sink in throughout the day, but not to the point where I'm gonna be completely matte. And that's also dependent on the weather. I live in a hot, humid climate, so in the summertime when it's really humid, this is gonna look a lot dewier on me. And my skin type, as I've said before, is balanced normal. So all these factors kind of come into play. But if I wear this in the winter time, it'll be more matte. If I wear it in the summertime, a little bit more dewy, veering on very dewy if I wear a lot of skincare underneath. But that's kind of what it looks like. I think it looks beautiful. It really does look quite blurred. In this camera and like what the camera's picking up with my blush, I feel like it's not really blurring it out as much. But if I'm looking at just my mirror over here, it looks very, very blurred in like a natural, good way. Not like a matte, chalky, like dry way, but a good blurred way. So here is a swatch. This is, I put it on about 10 minutes ago. I like to let it sit so you can see what it looks like. And it has oxidized. I will say though, it still is kind of more of a neutral undertone, but I want to show you what it looks like when you first apply it so you can see the difference. That's probably a lot, but. So here you can see what a difference this is. First applied, very, very neutral. When it sits for about 10 minutes, it has oxidized. But like I said, it's darker for sure, but I don't think it's as orange as a lot of the tinted mineral sunscreens out there are. So this is the swatch of them. I think that is it. This is definitely one of my favorites. I just love this one. I know why I got the minis, because I don't actually love the other one, Supreme Screen, as much, because it's a lot more hydrating and I just don't need that. But I am very tempted to pick up the full size because I just think it's one of the better mineral, like pure mineral sunscreens out there. And, you know, I need more sunscreens in my collection, right? Anyway, that is day 8. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know below if you are going to pick it up, if you've tried it, and I will see you tomorrow for day 9. Bye!